Dubai-based photographer Sebastian Farmborough is causing quite a stir in the region. Born in the UK and widely traveled, this talented photographer has spent 3 years in Saudi Arabia, where he has delved into the Saudi culture. His journey in the Muslim kingdom has inspired him to launch a series of photographs entitled An Emerging Mystery, capturing a subject that has long been polarizing topic of debate, the Islamic veil. The photos depict typically covered Saudi women featured in highly uncharacteristic settings. Armed with his camera, Sebastian is determined to clear up misconceptions surrounding the Middle East, as he believes the Muslim world is severely misunderstood. Let's find out more about an emerging mystery with Sebastian himself. Welcome, Sebastian.
Hi, how are you doing?
How are you doing today?
Very well, thanks.
So my first question for you is, in what sense are Saudi women an emerging mystery?
Well, obviously not for people who live in Saudi Arabia, but for the outside world. For example, say in New York, they've seen them walking down the streets, and so they're visible, but nobody really knows too much about them. So that's the sense of the mystery. And I think more so, for example, when I went to school, there was only one Muslim person in my school. And I think now England's a lot more multicultural than it was back then. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's becoming more.
I'd like to focus on the term emerging here. Can you, like when I say emerging mystery, how is a Saudi woman, you know, an emerging mystery? That's what I meant.
Well, they're becoming more kind of widely known in the world and achieving things and, you know, becoming businesswomen, the Saudi woman that climbed Mount Everest. You know, they're trying to take more control over their lives. But still, we don't know a great deal about them.
And what has affected you personally the most about Saudi women?
Well, they're normal people. And I think in the West, we have this concept that if people are wearing a veil, that they're different somehow. But they're not. You know, they're very gentle. Some of my friends introduced me to their wives, and so I got to know them. And yeah, they're just normal people. Okay. Just covering, that's the only thing, you know.
A picture is worth 1,000 words, so let's take a look at the picture of the woman in the water, and it's actually my favorite one. So could you just tell us in a few words what message this picture is sending across?
Well, it's like the title, An Emerging Mystery, and for me, it was based on my first experience in Saudi. I moved from Barcelona, so I was used to a very open way of life, and then I went to the beach in Saudi and I saw a woman swimming, and it was such a shock because I'd never seen anything like that. And so that for me embodies this whole change in the world. You know, that Saudi women are trying to come forward and trying to take more control over their lives.
How do you think how do you think Western women could identify with say this woman on the picture?
Okay, the reason I did that was because if you look at Western newspapers and magazines and things, the veiled women, they're so unapproachable and they look more like objects, and you think, how can you connect with that? How can you understand that that's a person? So I wanted to produce, or this is the series, I want to produce personable images that Westerners can connect to, and then they can understand these women. And if I can get Westerners to understand, you know, such a conservative form of covering, then they'll be okay with all of them. That's the idea behind it.
Your photos have gone viral on the web. Do you feel your project has had some kind of impact on people's perception of the veil?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I haven't finished, but I've had so many emails from women around the world. A lot of Saudi women in England, and, you know, they tell me they're treated badly because of the veil, and they really support what I'm doing. So yeah, it's been great, but I want to take it a lot further.
So I was going to get to this here. You're planning to go back to Saudi Arabia and take more photos to illustrate the positive aspects of the kingdom. What will your next project be focused on exactly? Is it going to be women, or is it going to be something else?
Yeah, that's the important thing. It isn't just about the women, and people don't know hardly anything about Saudi, and there's some wonderful things there: the generosity, the hospitality, how close the families are, the friendships, the respect towards elders, the safety. You know, there are a lot of things that I'd like to show to the West, and I really think that we could learn from each other. It's not all negative there. Of course, there are bad things there. You know, the bad things in the West too. But I think we can meet halfway and learn from each other. That's the whole idea of this project.
So my question here, to be more precise, is you're going to be just taking random pictures of everything that's positive, or are you just going to focus on you know, one specific thing, like you did right now with the women?
No. I mean, I don't want to, you know, be too specific, because of course, if you go there, you can have new experiences and see new things. So I'll be looking for those kind of candid moments. But at the same time, I'm going to create things based on my experiences with these themes, like family. For example, my next two shoots, I'm doing one with a veiled woman and a bow and arrow, and I want to show how a veiled woman can be powerful and beautiful, and I think that's very typical of an Arab household. And another one is a veiled woman with a baby, and then with that, I want to show that she's caring. You know, it doesn't matter about the veil; you can see the love, and that's the idea. So Westerners can connect with that, not something that's just like an object.
You'll have to come back to Beirut, actually to Beirut. It's going to be your first time, and tell us all about your upcoming projects and possibly show us some pictures. Thank you, Sebastian. That was photographer Sebastian Farmborough speaking live from Dubai.